Miami Heat get crushed by the Phoenix Suns last night, 113-97. The Miami Heat end their West Coast trip 2-3, and one player in particular destroyed the Miami Heat last night, and that player was Grayson fucking Allen. Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir. Before I get into the recap of last night's game, I just want to thank everybody for their continued support. I'm on my path to 500 subscribers, so if you could please hit subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. So last night's game was ugly and egregious on the Miami Heat's end, both defensively and offensively. Such a horrible second half for the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat were shorthanded, but that's not an excuse because the Suns were also shorthanded. The Heat were missing Jimmy Butler again, Haywood Highsmith, and Caleb Martin, but the Phoenix Suns were missing two of their best players, Eric Gordon, and then their best player definitively, Kevin Durant. So I think that's a wash right there. The Miami Heat had enough, but we just played horribly on both ends of the floor last night, and three players basically on the Suns destroyed us, and one of them was unexpected. Grayson Allen hit 9 3-pointers last night, which was a career high for him, and he just from out the gate was just launching threes and just making them. Like he made 4 threes in the first quarter alone, and the Miami Heat were fighting. Defensively and offensively, we're doing fine in the first half. More so offensively, we weren't rotating or switching well, and we were allowing Grayson Allen to get a lot of 3-point opportunities, and he made most of those. He had 23 points at half, which is just comical, a joke. And it was a close first half. I mean, the Heat were down after the first quarter 29-33, so they did survive slightly. Because Booker hit at least two threes in that first quarter. So did Bradley Beal. So they came out hot from behind the arc, and the Heat were only down by 4 going into the second quarter. So we were able to sustain that. Especially, it was impressive because Bam Adebayo was 0 for 5, and it looked like he was going to have his third or fourth inefficient game in a row, which is unfortunate, but he picked it up and stepped up, and he was probably the only player that realistically showed up for the Miami Heat, outside of Kevin Love, who we'll get to, who played another spectacular game off the bench. But Bam, in the second quarter, had 15 points and was getting into the post and was getting into the paint and dominating Nurkic, who's a horrible defender. So Bam kept us afloat in the first half, which was great. But before that, offensively, we looked fine. Like, there was really good ball movement. We were getting some good flare screens for Tyler Hero and for Kyle Lowry. He was really aggressive to start the game and hit a couple threes. He was actually playmaking well early on. Jaime Jaquez, just off ball, has been amazing, has been cutting weak side, getting layups and dunks off that movement, which has been wonderful. Jaime had a quiet game and didn't get many shot attempts because Tyler was the one who took, I think, most of our shots last night. And we'll get to Tyler, who had a really inefficient and frustrating game last night. But yeah, I'm disappointed that Jaime is not getting any plays called for him whatsoever. I mean, like 1 or 2 a game would be nice. Like, I'm not asking for too many, but he's not getting the ball in the mid post or baseline anymore. Like, a lot of his opportunities were backdoor cuts, weak side cuts, off ball movement, and then him spotting up in that corner. And I think he had 1 3. So he needs to get the ball in his hands, I think, in that mid post, so that way he can attack and get those points in the paint and show off that great footwork. So frustrating game. Again, defensively, I don't want to let the Heat off the hook. That's their identity. They're known to be a better defensive team than offensive, even though we struggle defensively on this road trip. The Miami Heat, their perimeter defense was bad, and their interior rim protection was horrible. Their point of attack has been a issue, especially with good guards, and all their points came from guards, came from Booker and Beal, dominated, and they're a mid-range shooting team just like the Miami Heat, but they were able to get better quality shots, and they shot super effectively and efficiently all night from three and just from everywhere except for the free throw line. So tough game, dude. Like when random scrub Heat killer Grayson Allen scores 23 points at half and 31 overall in the game, like you're in trouble at that point. So yeah, just a disgusting game overall. The Heat need to clean up defensively. I don't know who's going to help us on that point of attack. I mean, I guess the built-in excuse is we didn't have three of our best wing defenders. I think we could have bottled up Bradley Beal more so than Devin Booker. You're not going to stop Devin Booker. He's spectacular. I haven't seen him play at all this season. That was the first game. So he's a really good player. He's definitely evolved and developed his game as a playmaker as Chris Paul has left. He used to be just a score first kind of shooting guard. Now he's more of that combo guard, and he's looking to set up his teammates. And in the pick and roll, pick and pop, he's a really good passer, like underrated for sure. He's averaging like 7 or 8 assists this year. So kudos to him. But having a player like Jimmy Butler or Haywood or Kevin Martin to help with that point of attack definitely would have helped us. But again, they were missing Kevin Durant, who's almost averaging 30 points per game. One of the top, I think he's the second leading scorer in the NBA after Shea. So yeah, point of attack, just they dominated. They got to the paint, and we had no rim protection whatsoever. So just horrible defense overall for the Miami Heat. Take a look at the box score real quick. So I think before I go into the box score, just looking at the recap. So the Heat were down. The Heat lost the first quarter, the second quarter to the third quarter. They outscored the Suns in the fourth quarter, which is surprising because we always play horrible in the fourth quarter, but it was too late. So the Heat were down 7 going into half, and then the third quarter is where the Heat completely lost this game and where it got out of hand. The Suns scored 32 to our 20. So they took a 19-point lead going into the fourth quarter. But in that third quarter, I remember now, the Suns came out super hot, super efficient. Bradley Beal was hitting jumpers. He scored 7 of their first 9 points. Booker was just wet with his mid-range. Like he was getting some nice baseline jumpers, some pull-up jumpers from the above the break. He looked great. And then, what's his name? The Nigerian dude. The power forward, what's his name? Metu, the center, actually. He got a couple buckets to start off the third quarter. He had an and-one, I think, layup on a fast break, which just absolutely killed us. And then the Miami Heat were ice cold. We missed our first, I think, 8 or 9 shots in the third quarter. Kyle Lowry had some good looks. Tyler Hero had some good looks. Bam had some good looks that rimmed out. And then we finally, I think, got a bucket from Jay Rich, who I think played really well off the bench. So we'll get into that. But yeah, third quarter came back to haunt us, and we just got destroyed. Couldn't make shit. They were making everything, and our defense was just deplorable at that point, and that was game over, basically. We were able to chip away here and there in the fourth quarter, but I think the closest we got to was 12 or 13. So weren't able to get to that single-digit mark to make it a actual game in the fourth quarter. So if you look at the box score real quick, start with the Suns. So, excuse me. Grayson Allen, 31 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, 11 for 19, 9 for 14 from 3, 2 blocks. Like, that's game. That's it. Like, if Grayson Allen's giving you 31, then you're going to win. Like, I feel like 90% of the time you're going to win. So I think that was the huge story of the game, was that random ass scrub who I hate definitely destroyed us. Bradley Beal looks like he had his best game of this season. He was only averaging 16 points a game. I know he's played like 10 games only this season due to injury, but he had 25 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. He was 11 for 18, 2 for 6 from 3. So he destroyed us. And which was funny, he was joking around with Bam. There's one moment where he fouled Bam Adebayo, Bam flexed, he flexed back, and then Bam flexed again, and they laughed. He was talking to Jay Rich, smiling, like that dude wants to play for Miami. And I'm kind of pissed after watching him last night and after watching how Tyler played, that not saying we could have, we would have got Bradley Beal if we wanted to. The issue was his contract and going into the second apron. But we could have got him. They got him for peanuts, basically. So super, super frustrating that Bradley Beal dominated us. Devin Booker, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, 9 for 19, 2 for 7 from 3, 2 steals. Nurkic, kind of quiet, but 6 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. And no one else really did shit. Like, Eubanks did all right. It was 4 for 8 at 11.6 boards, but no one else really did anything for the Suns. So it's really those 3 guys who destroyed us. On the Heat side, Bam's the only guy who showed up. He was playing horrible in the first quarter, but from second quarter on, like, he played like really great basketball. 28 points, 11 boards, 1 assist, 11 for 19 from the field, 6 for 7 from the line, 1 block, only 1 turnover. He played great. Hawkins played fine. He only had 7 shots, 10 points, 2 boards, 1 assist, 5 for 7, 0 for 2 from 3. He did have 2 steals, but he did have 3 turnovers, man. Like, his turnovers are typically when he gets caught up in the air and he tries to do some sort of like cross-court pass that's telegraphed. So I'm not going to blame Jaime there. The effort was obviously there. He just needed more opportunities. Tyler Hero, just bad road trip for Tyler. Just inefficient, ineffective. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 for 17, 1 for 7 from 3. Only 1 turnover, but that 1 turnover was a horrible pass to Jay Rich, who's on the wing. That was super telegraphed. But yeah, he needs to step up, man. And I just losing faith in Tyler. I know he's our best offensive player. I know he's improved. I like him a lot. I'm not a Tyler hater, but we're not going to win a championship with him as our 3rd best player. Plain and simple. Jovic got some time again, 24 minutes. I like to see that. He started, but super ineffective out there. 3 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, only 1 for 3. No turnovers again. No personal fouls. That's a shock to see. Basically non-existent though in those 24 minutes. Kyle Lowry, same thing. 6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 for 7 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 4 turnovers, which were horrible. He made those 2 first threes in the first 2 minutes of the game, and he didn't score otherwise. So bad game from him. Jay Rich off the bench, 2 of our players that came off the bench that really did well. Jay Rich, except for his inefficiency from 3, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He was 2 for 9 and 1 for 6 from 3, but 5 for 5 from the line, which is good. So can't complain about Jay Rich. Duncan Robinson, back-to-back horrible shooting games, dude. This guy is in a small slump. I hope that he doesn't continue and get in his head and psychologically psych himself out and become a poor shooter again. 4 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 for 7 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. So Tyler needs to step up and get out of the slump. And Kevin Love continuing to impress. 20 points, 7 boards, 6 for 9 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. He's been stepping it up, man. He's been crushing it, and you can't ask for more from Kevin Love off the bench. Just rebounding really well. Those outlet passes are crisp. He's been hitting his 3. He's been scoring for us off the bench, so kudos to him. But outside of Love, really, and Bam, horrible game for the Miami Heat. So thank God this road trip is over, and the Heat are going to be playing the next 4 at home, and they're going to be playing the young and up-and-coming Houston Rockets on Monday. I believe we lost to them earlier this year at Houston, so let's see if we can get a bounce-back game at home Monday against the young Houston Rockets. Hopefully Jimmy Butler should be back by then. Not sure about Caleb. Haywood Highsmith, I'm hoping should be back. He's been in concussion protocol, so not sure how long it's been since he's been out. I think it's been like less than a week or so. So hopefully he should be able to come back soon. We desperately need his defensive capabilities. But anyway, that's all I have for this frustrating episode. Hopefully the Heat come back on Monday and the Heat are now 20 and 15. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.